Hi everyone, my name is Dr. John Daniel from CME Psychological Group, and today I want to share 7 tips for managing your family's COVID 19 anxiety. I know things are really overwhelming and uncertain, and everything seems to have changed overnight, and now we're doing the social distancing and more limited about where we can go, what we can do. And there's a lot of concern and worry and fear surrounding what's happening and what's going to happen. So I just wanted to share some tips about how you can help yourself and your family work through some of that anxiety that's going on at this time. So, the first tip is to talk to your child about uh, what's going on at a level they can understand. So, on one end of the spectrum, we can share way too much information and tell them all about viruses and how scary that is and how transferable that is, and kind of put a lot of our own anxiety on them in this effort to keep them safe. And on the other hand, we can try to shield them and not tell them anything or very little and pretend like things are normal. But kids are very intuitive and they know this is not normal. There's something going on. So being able to talk with them at a level they can understand is really important to help them um, ease that anxiety and also to be able to point them to certain things that they can control, like making sure they're washing their hands or that we're being extra safe right now, or even giving them a few responsibilities at home to help them feel in charge and in control of certain things that they can be doing. For teenagers, it's a little different often, and it's more about setting boundaries, less about having to explain or convince them the importance of staying home more or uh, not going to the mall or crowded places or things where teenagers have this sense of invincibility and so they might be more resistant, but more just setting the boundaries and being able to follow through on those boundaries of what you feel is okay for your family and for your teenager to follow in terms of keeping them safe. The next tip is setting up some routine. There's so much open space and unstructured time now, and we're not going to fill it to the same extent that a school day would be filled, but having some structure for the day, some loose structure I would call it, of in the morning we're going to do this learning activity, this movement activity, um, maybe call this family member or friend, and then you can have some screen time type type of routine in the sense of we're building some flow to the day, um, and helping your family and your children be able to know what to expect, know what's coming, and rather than feeling this seemingly endless amount of free time and kind of scrambling to figure out what I'm going to do, having some form of structure of movement activities, social activities, learning activities, etc. Then a third tip is talking about communication. We're all uh, surrounded by our families, indoors, close quarters, and that can kind of breed some irritability or frustration. So just talking about how to talk about when we're frustrated and what you would like that to look like. And of course, modeling yourself, being able to communicate frustrations appropriately, um, trying to set up some independent time for everybody to have some space and some uh, opportunity for just some alone time, which is leads to the fourth tip of making sure you're taking care of yourself and prioritizing your own self-care, finding that alone time, doing the things that fulfill you, like if it's doing a yoga video or going on a walk or journaling or whatever it is that you find some fulfillment by making sure you're prioritizing that as well because of how much you have on your plate right now. Then the fifth tip is monitoring your news consumption. There's a fine line between staying informed, which is, of course, very important, and just feeding anxiety. And sometimes we know when we have the news we're going to have for the day, and it's about kind of catching yourself just feeding into everything going on in an unhealthy way and being able to unplug from that and prioritize more of the fulfilling activities like we just talked about. A sixth tip is encouraging projects for yourself and for your kids, whether it's learning to cook something or different things, different art projects, puzzles, things that ideally take a few days, to give our mind something to look forward to and be engaged in that's more motivating, um, and then enriching. So maybe it's starting to learn a new language or a puzzle, like I said, or just something that's going to feel engaging. And then the last tip is take advantage of the family time. We're all together, like I said, and so making some set time for game nights or just sitting and talking, making sure we're at the dinner table together, just not letting the fact that we're all home be enough, but really prioritizing that connection and activities that are going to promote that connection. So I'm really hoping that we remember that we're all in this together. We're all struggling in one form or another, and the more we're prioritizing things that we can do to help make sure we're taking care of our mental health, um, and build that connection with our family and extend that to socially as well, the more we're going to come out through this stronger and more united. And of course, at CME Psychological Group, we're here to support you. So we're offering telehealth sessions and lots of resources. So make sure you take advantage of those and reach out um, if you're in need of a consultation or any support. Thanks for listening and hopes this was helpful.